Okay, let's dive right into a really fascinating chapter today, Deuteronomy chapter 27.
Ah, yes. This is such a critical point in the story.
Absolutely. It catches the people of Israel right on the edge, doesn't it?
Uh,
Just about to cross the Jordan River.
right, finally entering that land they've been promised for so long. The land flowing with milk and honey, as the text says.
It's this massive shift, really, more than just geography.
Oh, definitely. They're moving from, well, decades of wandering to actually settling down, becoming a nation in a place. Everything's about to change for them.
And right at this moment, this pivotal moment, Moses and the elders give them these really detailed instructions. It's almost like a script for what they need to do immediately.
Yeah, foundational ceremony, you could call it.
So our mission today in this deep dive is to unpack what they're told to do, these specific actions, right when they cross over.
And try to understand the why behind it all. It's clearly not just, planting a flag. It's about establishing who they are in this new land.
Their identity, their laws, their connection to God,
Yeah.
all of it.
And the very first command, right after crossing the Jordan, it's striking how physical it is.
It really is. So tactile. It says, uh, when you have crossed the Jordan, set up some large stones and coat them with plaster.
Large stones and plaster. It's like monument building is the first order of business.
Before they even build houses, yeah.
And then,
Right?
then it says, write on them all the words of this law. And it stresses, write very clearly all the words of this law on these stones.
Very clearly. So definitely not hidden away. This is public. Meant to be seen, right? Permanent.
Exactly. And they're told exactly where. Set up these stones on Mount Ebal and coat them with plaster.
Mount Ebal. So that specific mountain becomes this like physical anchor for the law from day one.
And that location, Mount Ebal, well, it becomes even more significant later in the chapter. It's set against another mountain, Mount Gerizim.
Right. But the instructions for Ebal aren't done yet, are they? There's more than just the stones.
No, they're also told, build there an altar to the Lord your God, an altar of stones.
Another stone structure, same place. But this one has that really specific rule. Kind of counterintuitive.
The one about the tools.
Yeah.
Do not use any iron tool upon them.
What do you make of that? No iron tools.
It's fascinating, isn't it? The altar has to be made of natural field stones, basically. Uncut, unshaped by human tools, especially iron ones.
Iron tools.
Okay.
Tools for building, for shaping, but also for war.
Exactly. So maybe it's about setting the sacred apart, keeping human force or technology away from the place of worship, making it natural, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe emphasizing a different kind of approach to God.
Yeah.
Distinct from how they'd build their cities or fight battles.
And this altar isn't just for show, it's for offerings. It mentions burnt offerers and fellowship offering.
And then eating them and rejoicing in the presence of the Lord your God. So solemnity and joy right there together.
Right. So Mount Ebal, right from the start, is this hub. You've got the law physically written on stone, visible to everyone. You've got worship happening on an altar made of natural, untouched stones. And communal celebration.
It ties their entry into the land directly to the law and to worship. A really integrated first step. Identity, law, land, God all linked.
Powerful statement. And then before they even get to the bigger ceremony involving the other mountain.
There's that really sharp command. Moses and the Levite priests addressing all Israel.
Yeah, it's almost abrupt, isn't it? Be silent, O Israel, and listen.
That gets your attention. And then the declaration. You have now become the people of the Lord your God.
That's the pivot right there. It marks the change in status. They're not just wanderers anymore. They are formally, officially God's people entering their land.
It's a declaration of who they are now, their identity.
And what flows directly from that new identity?
The command. Obey the Lord your God and follow his commands and decrees that I give you today.
So, silence. Listen. Understand who you are. And then obey. Simple sequence. Obedience is the required response to being God's people.
Yeah, it sets the stage perfectly for what comes next, which is, well, quite the production.
The centerpiece of the chapter, really. This ritual involving both mountains, Gerizim and Ebal.
The text says, on the same day Moses commanded the people. They have to split up the tribes.
A very specific division.
Right. These tribes shall stand on Mount Gerizim to bless the people. Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Joseph, and Benjamin. 6 tribes.
On Gerizim for the blessings, though the blessings aren't actually listed here, just implied by the setup.
And the other 6.
And these tribes shall stand on Mount Ebal to pronounce curses. Reuben, Gad, Asher, Zebulun, Dan, and Naphtali.
Back to Mount Ebal again. Same place as the stones in the altar. It's definitely associated with the law's demands
Yeah.
and the consequences.
Seems so. And who does the actual speaking?
The Levites. It says, they shall recite to all the people of Israel in a loud voice.
In a loud voice. This isn't subtle. It's meant to echo across that valley between the two mountains. Everyone needs to hear these curses.
And the list itself, it's very specific, tells you a lot about what mattered most.
Where does it start?
It starts with idolatry, but specifically hidden idolatry. Cursed is the man who carves an image or casts an idol and sets it up in secret. Why start with the secret stuff?
Maybe because that gets to the heart. It's about hidden loyalty or disloyalty. Not just what you do in public, but what's going on inside, even in private.
Makes sense. Then it immediately goes to family. Cursed is the man who dishonors his father or his mother.
Foundational for social order, right? The basic family unit. Undermine that and things fall apart.
And then community fairness. Cursed is the man who moves his neighbor's boundary stone. That sounds minor maybe, but what does it point to?
It points to the importance of stability, property rights, not cheating your neighbor as they settle down. It's about basic community integrity.
Yeah, and protecting the vulnerable comes up strongly too. Cursed is the man who leads the blind astray on the road.
And cursed is the man who withholds justice from the alien, the fatherless, or the widow. These show a real concern for the marginalized, those easily taken advantage of.
Definitely. Then the list moves into specific forbidden sexual acts.
Right. Things that violate the kinship structures they needed. Sleeping with your father's wife, with animals, with a sister, a mother-in-law. It's laying down clear boundaries.
Very explicit. And it doesn't shy away from violence or corrupt justice either.
No. Cursed is the man who kills his neighbor secretly. Secret murder destroys trust.
And cursed is the man who accepts a bribe to kill an innocent person. That's like the ultimate corruption, isn't it? Twisting justice for money, leading to death.
It covers a lot of ground, religious, familial, social, sexual, legal.
But the truly remarkable part, maybe even more than the list, is the response. What everyone has to do after each curse.
Yeah, the source says, then all the people shall say, Amen.
After every single one. Imagine that sound. The Levites shout a curse.
And then this roar from thousands and maybe hundreds of thousands of people across the valley, Amen.
It's not passive listening at all.
No, it's active agreement, communal affirmation. They're publicly saying, yes, this is wrong. Yes, this deserves consequence. What's the power in that, do you think? That collective, Amen.
It feels like it binds them together. It makes the law theirs. They're all agreeing on the lines, the boundaries. It becomes a shared responsibility, not just rules handed down.
It's like a national vow spoken piece by piece.
Exactly. And the list ends with this catch-all curse, almost.
The one that sums it up.
Yeah. Cursed is the man who does not uphold the words of this law by carrying them out.
Ah, that's crucial. It's not just about avoiding the specific sins listed.
Right. It's about the whole attitude.
Yeah.
You're cursed if you don't actively live the law, uphold it, carry it out. It puts the emphasis on positive action, on ongoing obedience.
And the response to that final sweeping curse.
Same thing. Then all the people shall say amen. They agree to that too.
Wow. So, okay, let's try and connect some of these dots. Why this whole big performance right as they enter the land? What's the point of writing the law on plastered stones on Mount Ebal?
Well, it makes the law unavoidable, doesn't it? Part of the landscape itself. A permanent physical reminder right where they live. It anchors their whole existence there to this code.
A public declaration etched into the land.
Yeah.
And the altar. Made of uncut field stones, no iron tools allowed. What's that signifying?
We touched on it, maybe purity. Keeping human power, even violence, symbolized by iron, away from the sacred, emphasizing something natural, God-given, rather than human-made for worship.
It does suggest a certain humility, perhaps. Relying on what's provided, not what you can forcefully shape. It sets the sacred space apart.
And the two mountains. Gerizim for blessing, even though it's only implied, and Ebal for the curses.
That's just brilliant staging, isn't it? A living diorama of choice and consequence. The whole nation standing literally between blessing and curse, hearing the reality of both.
Makes it very real, very immediate.
And looking at that list of curses again, secret idolatry, dishonoring parents, boundary stones, harming the vulnerable, sexual ethics, murder, corrupt justice, and then just failing to live the law. What does this collection tell us about what was foundational for them at this moment?
It shows it wasn't just about, temple rituals. It was about building a whole society. Family, fairness, protecting people, integrity in relationships, justice. It's a blueprint for community living.
A really holistic view of law. It covers everything: religious, social, personal, legal, all wrapped up together.
And that amen response repeated over and over.
Yeah.
What's the impact of that communal shout?
It's got to be about ownership, right? They aren't just being told the rules and consequences, they are actively, vocally affirming them together.
Yeah, it turns it into their covenant, their commitment, spoken out loud by everyone. It must have created a powerful sense of shared identity and responsibility.
Makes the law personal and collective at the same time. And that last curse, the one about not upholding the words by carrying them out.
That really brings it home, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's not enough to just agree or avoid the big sins.
No, it demands ongoing action, leaving it out day to day. It means being God's people isn't just a title you get when you cross the river. It's something you have to actively be.
Proactive obedience, not just avoiding trouble.
Exactly. Continuous faithfulness.
So just to quickly recap the core actions in Deuteronomy 27, they enter the land, they immediately set up large stones on Mount Ebal, plaster them, and write the law very clearly on them.
Then on the same mountain, they build an altar of natural, uncut stones, no iron tools for sacrifices, and communal rejoicing.
And then the big ceremony. 6 tribes on Mount Gerizim for blessings, 6 on Mount Ebal for curses.
With the Levites in the middle proclaiming the specific curses aloud.
And the entire nation responding, Amen, after each and every one, including the final curse against anyone who doesn't actively uphold the whole law.
It's this incredibly deliberate, multi-sensory event designed to embed their identity, their law, and their covenant with God right into the foundation of their new life in the land.
It really makes you think about the power of public shared commitment. Imagine an entire nation making that kind of vow, curse by curse. What does this text suggest about how societies establish and maintain their core values and laws through collective public acts? Something to ponder, maybe, about how we create shared commitment today.